Hey YouTube land, Tech Hunters here, welcoming you back to another action figure review. Now this is probably going to be maybe a bit of a long-winded one, might be a bit short, depending on how we get through things. But today I'm going to be reviewing the Power Rangers Lightning Collection X TMNT or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover figures. So I'm going to do all the turtles together with the respective partners. Each of these come in a 2-pack, as you can see in the box here. Now I haven't taken all the parts out of this. You can see Donny's head is still, Donny's turtle head is still in here, but you can see on the cover you have the two Rangers that correspond to which turtle. So in this one you have morphed Leonardo and morphed Donatello. The image carries on to the side of the box for each Ranger, or Ranger morphed turtle. So on Donny's and Leo's, they follow around the side. On the back it's pretty plain. They're not really, they don't have a whole bunch of pictures of the figures in different poses. It's just as a single pose of the figures and some of the accessories you get. So for instance, Leo's here you get a lightning effect for his sword, and for Donatello you have like a slash energy effect for his axe. So they actually come with kind of the signature weapons of the Rangers that they empower. So you have the lightning axe, or the power, is it thunder axe or lightning axe? I can't remember the name of it. The one for the Black Ranger. You have those. They're supposed to be swords for Leo, but they're I think they're almost katanas, or that weird three-pronged, almost trident type thing for the Blue Ranger. And flipping that out of the way, you have a morphed April O'Neil and morphed Michelangelo as pink and yellow Rangers. Again, some of April's accessories are in the box. I didn't want to take them out in case I lost them before doing the review or misplaced them. So again, image wraps around the side of the box, and you have an image of the characters on the back. So April is interesting. She's one of the more human characters done as a kind of regular Power Ranger. So if you collect the regular Lightning Collection line, you could probably just use her as a Pink Ranger. The only thing she's really missing from that Pink Ranger outfit is the skirt piece. She generally seems to have the normal standard Pink Ranger gear, except with the exception of a April O'Neil inspired head. Mikey, on the other hand, is based on the Yellow Ranger, or Trini, or Aisha, depending on which iteration of Mighty Morphing you'll go with. And you have the nunchucks. So I think the original weapon was more of a small daggers, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly where I'm almost certain they weren't nunchucks. So they now have a nunchuck style weapon for the Yellow Ranger. I think they were like small throwing daggers, if I remember correctly. And then the last 2-pack set is Raph as the Red Ranger and Tommy Oliver as a foot soldier. So I haven't read the comics that these are based off, so I'm not sure if Tommy's in disguise as a foot soldier or he's been brainwashed into being evil Tommy again and he's a foot soldier. I know I've done a review for Shredder, and Shredder is morphed as the Green Ranger, so you don't have Tommy as Green Ranger. It could be that he stole the power coin from Tommy and brainwashed him to being a foot soldier or a foot ninja. But again, you have the image of the characters wrapping around the side of the boxes. So you have the Red Ranger Raph and Tommy with a sword, and then on the back you have the various powered up energy stuff for them. So Tommy comes with a kind of a power fist attack, and a lightning for his sword. And what's interesting is Raph is, even though the Red Ranger was normally the one that had the sword, they didn't go with Leo for the Red Ranger. They went with Raph considering his color scheme, and they gave him swords, Sai-like swords. So he has 2 swords instead of 1, and they're both designed like Sais, and they have like an energy whip or an energy ability on them. So we'll get into that when I get into the figures. So bear with me a moment. I'll be back with the figures all in their glory, and we'll get through the figures. And here we have everyone out of their boxes with their respective weaponry in hand, alternate heads and such. at their feet. So I'll go through the hands first that the turtles come with, because they all come with the same sets of hands. So you have a pair of outstretched hands with the 3 fingers on them. The hands they come with are gripping hands. This is just one of the ones with the figures I've already swapped out hands with. So you have a set of gripping left and right hands. I think nearly all of them have their gripping right hand in their hand, so I don't have the alternate one. And then you get a pair of punchy fist hands. So they're exactly the same. There's no difference between the turtle hands, no difference between the scaling of the hands. They all seem to have the same hands. I'll go to Raph first, because he was the first one I opened up. So all the turtles use the same figure base. The only difference is plastics they're molded in, the belts that they come with, and of course the Ranger helmets they come with. So for Raph, he has the Dino Megazord or Power Megazord helmet. He's the Red Ranger with the dinosaur, or the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur, and Yellow Ranger is obviously the Saber-tooth Tiger, Blue Ranger is Triceratops, and the Mastodon is Black Ranger. So these are based on the Mighty Morphin Rangers. He comes with his signature sword slash scythe weapons for Raph. He comes with those aforementioned hands, but he also comes with a Raph gritting teeth head. Now you can swap these out. They can be a little cumbersome. They just pop off in a peg. I tend to find some of them make it easier for the head to go, or the bandana part to go behind the shell. Some of them, I think like Mikey's, goes over the shell. So if I can just get it to pop in on camera, it might be a bit tough to do, but hopefully I can do it. There you go, it just pegs into place. And you have the turtles with their signature bandana heads. You can swap them around if you want to, but the only thing then is they don't have their signature belts with their weapons. And Raph does have his signature size. I'll get into articulation in a minute for the turtles. They all have the same articulation, the turtles, so there's no differences between them. But you can see Raph has storage for his blades on his belt, just like where his size would be. So he has the butterfly joint system in the upper arm. Now, I'm not sure if these bodies were reused for something else, because these shell parts are actually glued onto the front, and this section here with the diamond is actually a separate piece. For both Raph and Mikey, this triangle is glued in place, but for characters with like Leo and Donny, because their belt strap goes across it, you can see how it just pegs in. One thing to note on Raph, now I'm not sure if it's coming across on camera, is that both the knees and the elbows are actually made from a different lighter plastic. It's not the same red as the main body. So I would imagine over time these will discolor quite fast compared to the rest of the figure. But articulation wise, head is on a ball joint. You actually have a double joint in the neck as well. There's an extra joint for extra range of movement. Head can move all the way around. Arms can rotate up quite a bit. You have that butterfly joint in the arm. You can move back forward. There's bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, hinge on the wrist. Depending on which wrist you put in, the gripping ones have up-down hinges. The open stretched hands have out back, and I think the punching ones have in and out as well. Whereas the grip hands have a horizontal waist. There's not much in the waist. There is a waist twist and turn. The shell does kind of prevent a bit of that. You can see there's actually articulation in the mid chest as well, but some of that articulation, especially on the turtles, gets fairly hindered. The back shell is all done the same. It has this kind of energy, it looks like an energy symbol on it, which is kind of cool. It doesn't have the turtle shell pattern. Legs can kick forward that much, and depending on turtle, they can splay out. Raph is a little hindered with his front pockets. Double jointed knees. There is a thigh swivel. There is a boot cut swivel, and there is rocker ankles on the boots. What's cool about the boots is they actually have those turtle toes. They have the 2 toes on the foot, which is kind of cool. So Raph's weapon is his signature size. What's kind of cool about that as well is that it comes with a power or a power-up attack. So you get this kind of slash thing that just fits over the side. It only fits in one side, and it's supposed to be like a sweeping kind of energy attack for his side. Or swords, size, whichever way you want to call them. They're pretty much, I wouldn't call them size because they look a bit too big. They look like swords. So if I just demonstrate it, you can put it on the figure and have him doing like a sweeping attack. Very similar to what we got with the Shredder with the energy blade things for his wrist blades. Very similar to that. We'll go with Donny next. So Donny is sporting the Black Ranger Mastodon. They all have the power coins on their legs as well, or on their legs, on their belts as well, which is cool. The corresponding power coin. So I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but you can slightly make out the Mastodon head for Donny. Again, same range of movement as Raph, so I won't go into that. He does have a difference in the belt. So it has this different belt which has a clip on the back for his pole arm. So his signature weapon is supposed to be the pole arm axe, or it's like a halberd almost, and it has a spike at the top that you can put the energy thing onto. Now, I'm not sure which way this goes on. I haven't really used it on this thing. So it's like an energy power-up attack. Again, comes with all the same weapons, or sorry, not same weapons, all the same hands that the other turtles have. So far, I haven't seen any discoloration with the plastics on both. On the other turtles, only Raph seems to have that different coloured knees and elbows. So, as I said, it could be an issue where they discolour quite often. Now, here's what I mean about the shells. If I just move his belt out of the way, they all have this peg on this chest where this gold emblem sits. On both Donny and Leo, because they have the strap that goes around, it unpegs. It's not glued into place, so it is designed to unpeg if you're manipulating the character around, so it doesn't snap this band. One of the other cool things with Donny is he comes with the blaster version of the power axe, and what's even cooler about that is this can all combine with the rest of their turtle weapons into the, was it the Mega Blaster, I think it was, or the Power Ranger Mega Blaster, whatever the name of it was, when they combined their weapons together on the show. You can do this with all 5 of the characters, including April's weapon. So I'll try and do that at the end of this review to show it all together. It can be a bit finicky, and I will have to get all the weapons out. He also comes with his signature turtle head. Now, I won't swap this out on screen, but he has goggles up above his head. It's not a bad head sculpt. It is kind of reminds me of not the 2000 Toon Turtles, but not the current one, the one that was in between those, where they had it was like still CGI. Well, it was the CGI cartoon turtles. It kind of reminds me of those sculpts and those designs. Because he has the kind of more overhead bandana, and he has the kind of more paley green skin compared to the kind of dark brownish skin that he had from the original turtle figures. And then on to Mikey, who has the Yellow Ranger suit, and he has the nunchucks. Now, I will say, be careful with these nunchucks, because I can see over time these breaking. Because the way you're supposed to put them into the figure, they can be a bit cumbersome. So the way they work is there's a little peg on one side and a peg hole on the opposite side of these nunchucks. They do snap together, and you are supposed to push them up through this belt piece. And I can imagine over time this chain, it's not an actual chain, it's just a plastic chain. I can imagine this breaking over time, so I would be careful. I'd almost stress not leaving them stored here as well, and not leaving them pegged together, because that would probably put unnecessary stress onto those. So if you are displaying them, I would display the nunchucks in his hands. I can just pop them out. I will have to pop them out for the combined blaster at the end of this anyway, so they do pop out. I would also recommend just leaving them unpegged if you're going to put them in the figure's hands for display, because otherwise, as I said, I can imagine that putting unnecessary stress onto those, onto that plastic chain. So he does hold them quite well. You can put them in either hand. Again, same articulation as the rest of the figures. He does get a bit more range of movement on the hips, because his pockets don't go down as far as Raph's does. Actually, I think Raph is the only one of the turtles that does have that issue with the hip articulation, mainly just because of the how big his pockets are for his weapons. Mikey does also have a power attack thing for his nunchucks, and I'm not sure how these go. I think they just slide in, so it just pegs in. He only has it for one of the sides of one nunchuck, so he doesn't have multiples for both of them, which is kind of a shame. Would have been cool if you had two, so he could do a double hand one with the two power things, but it just slides in. Now I think it slides in the side. Yeah, it slides in the side without the peg hole on it, so just be wary of that. It's designed to fit the ones that don't have the big peg on the side. So when you're putting that on, again, he does come with the head sculpt. I'm not a big fan of the Mikey head sculpt. It's kind of, compared to the other turtles, all of them have kind of either, you know, closed mouths or gritting teeth. He's the kind of laughing, joking one, and I get that Mikey's supposed to be the party one, and, like, you know, the joker of the pack, but it just, I'd prefer to have a kind of more neutral head for Mikey, because he just kind of looks out of place when you have all the turtle heads on the things, but it's done nicely. I should say as well, the bandanas, the back of the bandanas appear to be a separate piece glued into place, so just be aware of that when you're putting them in and out. Probably best to put them on by holding the heads themselves as opposed to the bandanas, because you could put extra stress on those pieces and they could pop off or snap off. Then on to I'm not sure if he's the leader of the group in this iteration. He was the leader of the group in most iterations, which is Leonardo. And this time he's donning the Triceratops Blue Ranger gear. It does look like Raph's supposed to be the leader of this group. And I know in the more recent Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Raph was denoted as being leader of the group. And they kind of went away with Leonardo being a leader for some reason. I'm not sure why that was, but that's what they did. So Leo has storage for his weapons on his back, just like his original turtle counterpart. It's those kind of weird trident things that Blue Ranger has. They do have the pegs. I kind of remember the original figures one doing this as well, where it pegs together into like a double-handed trident. And they look more like swords, so it is possible to have him hold his weapon. So he does hold his weapon quite nicely. They do fit into the hands. As I said, he doesn't seem to have the issue with the hip articulation, but he does have that thing where the chest piece does pop out of the peg when moving him around, so just be careful of that. He does have all the same articulation as the rest of them. He has a lightning kind of attack for his sword. So the way it works is it just slides up into the center of it, and you can put it on either sword. Again, you only get one of these, even though he has two weapons. You only get the one lightning effect. So it is kind of a bit of a bummer that they don't give two lightning effects. And again, he has the turtle head. It's a more stern looking Leonardo head, which is kind of cool. Kind of looks good bouncing off the other characters. Well, with the exception of Mikey. I think Mikey would have kind of looked cool with a stern head as well, even though he's, again, as I said, the Joker of the pack. But overall, he's a really good figure. So that leaves us with the two human morphed characters. Well, one morphed, one non-morphed. So we'll go with April first. So April is the Pink Ranger. Here she has her unmasked head. Overall, she's really nice. I don't have any of the standard Mighty Morphin Rangers for her. Like for the Mighty Morphin Pink, either was it Kimberly, and I can't remember the other one that took over from her. But she does actually have the Dragon Blaster, or I think it's called Dragon Blasters. The actual blasters that the Rangers came with. It does fit into her pocket. Now, I know people said that the one disappointing thing with the Lightning collection is this. They don't have the folded up versions of these. The handles are supposed to fold up into the gun, and then when they were using them, they'd fold into a gun position. They don't have that. They just have the standard gun blaster position. She does come with two gripping hands. One for her bow, one for the other accessory. She can hold a blaster in those hands as well. Now, she doesn't have a dedicated trigger finger hand, so there is no real kind of trigger on this. So, well, there is a trigger, but it's not a giant trigger, so it doesn't make much difference. It's kind of very slim and part of the handle, so it won't push the trigger, the actual trigger finger out, but you can hold it in either hand. I do find that the bow is a bit, is quite wide. The handle for the bow is quite wide, so on this hand it has stretched it out. I've had her holding it, but it's intended to be in this hand. And then the other hand that she comes with, we just move the bow into position. She comes with a arrow, a pink arrow, that's supposed to sit in her other hand, and she's supposed to be able to do the whole bow and arrow kind of pose, if we can get it to work. I haven't really used the arrows with this. I've just been using the bow, but she has a bow and arrow, so you can kind of simulate her firing her bow and arrow. She does indeed come with her signature Pterodactyl Pink Ranger helmet, and it can be popped out. Her head's on a ball peg with a hinge, so it is kind of more older style figures, whereas the turtles just have a ball peg and it does snap into place. So she does get good range of movement on her head. Again, as I said, she's different to the normal Pink Rangers, where the other Pink Ranger has the skirt piece. This one doesn't, so she's not really hindered in the articulation department with that. She has butterfly joints in her shoulders, which are very small and kind of hard to see, but she does have the same range of articulation pretty much as the turtles in the sense of elbows. Well, actually, she only has single jointed elbows as opposed to double. She still retains the double jointed knees, and she still has the boot cut and the ankle rocker and ankle articulation. She has an upper diaphragm joint. She has no waist joint, even though it looks like she should. And then there is a extra hinge down there, but her waist swivel is really up here at her chest, so you get kind of good range of movement. The single joint elbows isn't too bad. She still gets a good over 90-degree bend on those elbows, so there is that. And then for her power-up accessory, she has a powered version of her arrow. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this fits into her hand. I haven't really, as I said, I haven't really used it that much with the arrows. I just used the bow on its own, but it looks like she can hold the powered version of her arrow and put it in, into her bow. But I'm not entirely sure how that one works for her. I'm sure if I have a look online, you can probably see people's version of her with it in it. But the shaft part of it seems very, very long for her to hold it, and where she kind of would normally hold it just doesn't look natural. And so she does come with two swappable hands. She comes with a open fist hand for her right hand, and then she comes with a fist hand for the left. To swap them out, you just pull them out. They're on pegs, and the wrists are on the horizontal articulation, so she doesn't have up and down on her wrist. The other accessory she comes with her signature camcorder. So where would April O'Neil, the reporter, be without her trademark camcorder? And she also comes with a microphone, so she can hold either of those in her gripping hands. In fact, I imagine the microphone will hold in her left a bit better, since it's the handle is a bit chunky. So she has her microphone for interviewing foot soldiers and whatnot for the turtles. But overall, she's quite a nice figure. Again, very similar to just the basic Lightning Collection Pink Ranger, Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger. So if you have that one, you probably know how she is. And then the last figure in this wave, or this video review, I'm sorry if it's gone on quite a bit, is the Tommy Oliver foot soldier figure, which does come with a good few bits of accessories, so I'll try and get through those pretty quickly. So first off, he comes with 2 effects pieces and a sword. He comes with a katana, which is quite nice. It fits into either of his grip hands. So he comes with 2 grip hands and 2 fist hands. So he actually have them in his hand at the moment. So his alternate ones are, he has the closed fist and the grip hand. So in his left hand now at the moment, he has the closed fist, and in the right he has the grip hand. You can swap them out. You can have the closed fist on the left, on the right, and open on the right. Oh, sorry, open on the left. And he holds his sword quite nicely. So if I just pop it in to his hand, he does hold it quite nicely. And then he comes with an effect piece, which again just goes through kind of the center of the sword, if I remember correctly. It's just getting it on can be a bit cumbersome. There's a way for it to go on, and that's the right way. I might have it the wrong way around. Hang on, let me see if I get this the right way around. Yeah, he does have a lightning effect for his sword, so you can put that on. He has a kind of power effect for his left hand. Now, on the box it shows it on his hand. I'm not too sure how. I have a feeling this is from another figure, because when I was looking at the inside of it, it looks like it has a different outline to the way the hand is, the design of the hand, but it still fits his hand. If I can get him to hold it. It just takes a while for it to push it in. You can get it into his hand, but the way the outline of the inside of it is, if that makes sense, the inner outline or the inner design, it doesn't look like it was designed for this figure. It looks like it was designed for someone else, because there looks like there's some sort of rounded, almost power coin looking thing on the inside of it. So I don't know any character that has a power coin up on their wrist, but it kind of looks like it slots into something along those lines. So it could have been for a different ranger weapon, and they just gave it for him for his offhand. So he's a really cool figure. Now if I just take his stuff out of his hands, he has pretty much the same articulation as the others. He has the butterfly joint, shoulders can move up, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrists with wrists with hinges, so it's up and down for the horizontal for the grip hands and vertical for the closed fists. He has that upper diaphragm joint. He has that kind of weird other joint. He doesn't have a waist swivel. He can kick out that much. He can kick forward. He has the thighs cut. He has the dual jointed elbows. He has the boot cut. He has all the same kind of articulation as the April figure and as some of the kind of standard Ranger figures. As far as I know, I'm not sure if they've reused. I think his main body is a reuse of the kind of general male Ranger figures, with the exception of the legs and the arms from the gauntlets downwards. So his head is also on a ball joint and a peg, and you do have an alternate head. But before I get onto that, he does have storage for his sword on the back, which is quite nice. Now again, I would stress not leaving this in here, even if you have him on display. Just because of the way it's designed, it does tend to bend the blade by the hilt of the sword. So I would recommend either having him holding it if you're on display, or just have it in an accessories bag without it. So his head does pop off. It's on a ball peg just like the others. He comes with a couple of accessories for his head. So you can have him with a standard Tommy head. So it just has the unmasked Ranger head. He comes with a simulated neck piece, which is supposed to be, I think, the bottom. It's supposed to be the hood from the from the Foot Clan mask, and then he has this mouthpiece that covers his mouth, so it's like the bottom half of the mask. And if I can just get his head to peg in again without the ball peg moving. Oh, it's going to be a bit awkward, isn't it? Well, I'm trying to do it on camera, but it can be done. There we go. So he can have this on his head, so it makes him look like he's just pulled the hood down and he has the long Green Ranger hair, which is similar to how he had these hair when he was the Green Ranger, except with the headband. He didn't have the headband all the time. I think it was when was it when he was the evil version of the Green Ranger he had the headband, and I don't think he had the headband every time he was Green Ranger. But I just popped the head off again and do it off screen just for quickness, and pop the foot soldier head back on. I do like the foot soldier head sculpt. It's really good, and I said if we could army build this guy, it would be really, really cool. So his head, I'm not sure if we can do it, is the exact same head that comes with the standard, or not, the single card or single box version of the Green Ranger, which is this version, which I think is supposed to be the evil version of the Green Ranger, where he had the he still has the dragon dagger, but he actually had that sword as well with the lightning effect. So, and what's kind of cool about this is because of this mouthpiece, it's actually designed to fit over that head. You can actually give him that if you wanted to, but it is exactly the same head, just the skin tone of the plastic is different. He has exact same bandana headband, just done in purple instead of green. And then if I bring in, I have the White Ranger version of Tommy head. So the skin between the Green Rangers and the White Rangers kind of match up, whereas this one, the Foot Soldier one, is a bit more paler, but there is that. And then if I have time, I'm going to try and combine all the weapons together for the Mega Blaster. I won't have anyone holding it because that will just take too much time to set up. So bear with me a moment. So Pink Ranger's bow does fit where it should do. I do have one. I don't have one of Raph's swords, and I need to get Mikey's other nunchuck. So I'll just grab stuff quickly, just so I can show it. And grab. One thing that's interesting is only one of Raph's swords can fit on it, so you don't really need both of them. So take the lightning effect off that. Take that. Now it's best again to peg the nunchucks together for this part of the combined mode. I wouldn't recommend leaving them like that. Now I believe, is it the Yellow Rangers ones go on the outside and these go on, actually, and these should be the other way around, but you get the general idea. So this goes like that, and that goes like that. That goes here. And then for the sword, Raph's sword goes up on top. We can get onto it without knocking everything off. I probably will knock everything off. Is that the right way? No, it should go flat. 2 seconds. Yeah, there we go. So I can get that back into where it should be. So there is the combined power weapon, I think it's called, or the Mega Blaster, I think it was called, or Power Blaster. It does peg together. It doesn't peg really securely together. And I believe these should be the other way around with the chains facing forward, because if I remember correctly, these were supposed to be like extra barrels for it, in the same way that Leo's ones are extra barrels. But yeah, and as I said, it only combines with one of Raph's swords. It doesn't have, you can't really fit both of them on it. But overall, you can have Raph hold it, or whichever turtle you want in the center to hold it, and have all the Rangers around him firing it in the firing stance, just like on the show. I won't really do that here because I've really gone overboard on the old time for this video, so it's going to take me ages to upload it. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was interesting and informative. And just before I go, I will just pop in Shredder from this line so you can see how he stacks up. He's actually a good bit taller than the rest of the figures, which is interesting. He's almost like a 7-inch figure compared to this line. Just get his foot into a more natural position. Sometimes it's a bit hard to get him to stand. Let's see if I can get him to stand behind him. He's probably going to fall over and knock everyone over. I don't think he wants to stand, does he? Oh, there's Liam at the back there against the backdrop. He is pretty much taller than everyone else. And then just for a standard Lightning Collection Ranger, I have the Green Ranger, as I showed earlier. He does stand about the same height as the Turtles. So all the Rangers tend to stand around the same height. And then Shredder is nearly about 7 inches, 6 inches. He's a good bit taller than any of the Turtles anyway, which is probably how he should be in the, how he's probably depicted in the comic book. So overall, really enjoyed this line, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it informative. And as I say, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.